Hey, what's up, everybody? We are back again. It is Thursday night, 8:15 p.m. here on A2D Radio. This is Vetted with Irving Fire and Big Dog Hollis Thomas.
What's
Holla at everybody, Big Dog.
Welcome to Vetted on A2D Radio. It's brought to you by Philly Sports Trips. For any of your travel, your sports travel needs, go to phillysportstrips.com. We are currently putting the finishing touches on the Brazil trip.
Take your time, brother. Take your time.
It's going to be a baller ass trip. Vincent has been in Brazil, lucky, and putting together a quality trip for you. So go to phillysportstrips.com and click trips and go all the way down to the Brazil trip and reserve your spot today. Now we can go right into the show because due to with that Philly Sports Trips, an esteemed colleague of mine who's a season ticket holder.
Esteemed colleague.
Yeah, so Miss Wendy. She let me know that they refunded the season ticket holders for the home games $63. The explanation was
is that a refund? That's a call that a refund. They have the nerve to call that a refund.
Well, the explanation was that it's still considered it's 18 game season due to collective bargaining agreement, but it's still what considered a preseason game. I was like, ain't nothing preseason about a game in Brazil.
Okay,
even if the game was in Brazil, I was like, and she said the right thing. She said most of the time the ticket prices are predicated on the actual who the opponent is. A lot of times.
Sometimes in the bigger the game, obviously the price goes up. But that changes and that's relevant, as the season goes on. But let me get this straight now.
Okay.
So
$63.
So first of all, the schedule was set up. So last season, 2023, the Eagles had 8 home games, and it's supposed to fluctuate back and forth every year. So the next season, they're supposed to have 9 home games. Then it'll go back to 8 home games in 2025. So the season ticket holders are buying their season tickets based on that, because as a season ticket holder, I'm counting the home games.
Yeah, right.
I'm counting the home games. So now, not only are the Eagles getting screwed because they don't have 9 home games, they're calling it a home game, the game in Brazil, but it's not a home game because they're not in Philly.
Right.
And also the season ticket holders are getting screwed because probably a lot of the season ticket holders, I would guess, are not going to be able to go to Brazil for that game. So they're going to lose out, but now they're getting screwed twice because they're only going to get $63. Do you know how much the tickets? That's not even half of the cost of the tickets. It costs over $60 just to park. So that's like a slap in the face, man. That's like a slap in the face.
But we're talking about Brazil, though.
I'm talking about Philly and whoever made the decision to give the season ticket holders $63 freaking dollars. What is that?
That was a kick in the nuts. I was going to ask Chris Nady. Chris Nady's in the room. What's up, Chris?
So that's a valid source you got going on there that gave you that information.
She's a season ticket holder.
Oh, she's a season ticket holder. Well, I'm sorry that they're doing that. But I would be furious.
I would be pissed. $63?
Yeah, just keep the money.
But and then
just
I didn't
keep it.
And it just occurred to me that they had to pay like some type of seat tax or something.
Yep.
So my boy James said $63 is probably the taxes because they just passed some type of crap with we don't talk politics, but they just passed some type of crap to where the credit cards can't charge you nothing but $8, but you let it lapse if you want to. That $8 gonna come back to haunt your ass.
So the $63 is tax on their season tickets?
I don't know. It's probably tax. I'm asking for a friend.
I'm curious. Anybody who's watching right now, do you know how they came up with the number 63? With that amount, $63. Where does that come from? And how do they come to that calculation? And that's based on what? they didn't just pick $63 out of the.
You know what? I don't even know, because when she said, I was like, $63. She said, yes, $63. And she said,
Rational thing.
The exact quote. Hold on. Let me pull up the exact quote from Miss Wendy here.
That's embarrassing.
The exact quote was, hold on a second. It was I just had it. She seemed a bit steamed.
Well, I would be steamed too. I would be. And here's the worst part about it, big dog. Here's the worst part about it. They can't do nothing about it. That's the worst part about it. Yeah. They can complain. They can say it to someone like yourself or myself who's on a podcast, who can articulate it or verbally exercise our right to say whatever it is we want to say with regards to what they're doing, but it ain't gonna change nothing. Nothing's going to change. And they don't care.
Well, see, she said, this is what she said. She said, they said it's like losing a preseason games, and then she's like, she said they said even though they moved it to an 8 or 9 home game in the home game schedule in the latest collective bargaining agreement, they still price as 8 home games and 2 preseason games. That's BS, is what she said. Well, because each game gets a valuation based on the opponent.
Well, first of all,
and we don't even know who the opponent is yet.
They can't treat it as a preseason game because it counts on the record as a regular season game. So what are they? What kind of?
I don't know.
What kind of flabbernacle? Is what's going on? What kind of explanation is that? And you know what? It's not like they don't have any money.
Yeah.
I told you earlier. Somebody asked Rockefeller back when he was the richest person in the world. Somebody asked Rockefeller, "Well, how much money is enough money? How much money do you need? How much more money?" He said, "Just a little bit more."
Just a little bit more.
That's what they're doing. These teams, they just got more money because the collective bargaining agreement just went up. TV money just went up this year, so they just got more money.
Not only that, they kicked the salary cap up, which has nothing to do with the owners. But to me, this is what it sounds like, because the owners, even though you may think that they want, to add those 2 games. I don't know who the hell ideally it was, because the owners, you realize the owners on the preseason game, you realize the players don't get paid, so they don't have to do that. So they would take all that revenue home on their own.
Right.
That's 4 games of revenue.
Right.
Now, the fact that she said that they told her that it's like a preseason game, but no, it's not in the preseason. It's the beginning of the regular season.
It's a regular season. It's the first regular season game for the Eagles. And I don't know this for sure, what I'm getting ready to say, but I would surely bet something that I'm probably right in some aspect of what I'm getting ready to say, in that, yes, it's a game in Brazil, and yes, we know it's going to be the Eagles. We don't know who the Eagles are playing yet. They'll announce that at some point, but I would almost guarantee you that the owners or the teams are making money from that game. They may not make money from being at home and selling concessions and selling merchandise and all that kind of stuff, and the tickets at home, but guess what? They're getting paid for going to Brazil and playing in Brazil. Right. Whether not the players, like you said, they're making their salaries, but the owners and the team in and of itself is getting paid for being in Brazil. I promise you that.
They're gonna get paid big time, and it's like, the thing is
like going to a bowl game in college.
And a lot of people, and this is the other part too, and this is another part of that, why I don't think that they was giving them so much money back, is because that's the owner's money. That's the owner's home money. It's like, so that's why you think it took the Eagles so long to go overseas to play a game? Because you have to give up a home game, and no owner wants to give up there,
because that's money.
Like, it's 8 Christmases. You think I'm going to give up one?
and yeah. There's a dry spell in between those 8 Christmases or 9 Christmases. So, yeah, I think it's just really, again, it's a slap in the face. Wouldn't it be unusual and very gracious if they gifted those who could not go? Okay, we're going to give you your ticket if you go, because you bought it already, your season ticket. If you don't go, we're going to refund your ticket for that game. That wouldn't hurt. That wouldn't hurt the Eagles owner or Lurie or whoever is banking all the money. It wouldn't hurt them at all.
Well, the funny part is I think that because the season ticket holders have to pay for the season tickets up front.
Yeah, I know. It's already
So that's
paid
why,
for. It's
yeah.
already
So
paid for.
that's
So
why
what
I
I'm
think that's
saying
why
is,
I think that's why a lot of people was pissed. So
yeah, what I'm saying is they already paid in anticipation of 9 home games.
right.
All right. They didn't just pay the money this year. They
No.
paid that money last year.
Oh yeah.
In anticipation of 9 home games this year. So now there's only going to be 8. One of the home games is designated as a home game, labeled as a home game, said to be a home game, but it's in Brazil. So again, some of the season ticket holders won't be able to go. But if they can go, if you buy your ticket, your airline ticket, and you get there, you pay for your hotel, guess what? You got a ticket waiting for you. Why? Because you're a season ticket holder and this is a home game. That's how it should be done.
Yeah.
That's how it should be done. And those who can't go,
that.
They should be reimbursed for that game. They should be reimbursed for that game.
Or they should be able to sell their ticket.
How are they going to sell it if somebody to somebody that can go to Brazil?
Yeah, that's over in Brazil already.
Well, that too. That should be an option as well. But
now
I'm just yeah. I would be a little bit rubbed the wrong way if I was a season ticket holder. They talk about $63 freaking dollars.
Now you give everybody the question. I see Rob has already answered the question.
Okay. Well, we were talking about this. We got tied up with the season ticket holders and $63, man.
We got tied up on the monies. Yeah, you know, when your money is funny, things don't go right. Don't go right
at all. So, Rob, throw up the agree to disagree. One of the reasons this is, we're trying to start something here. We shake the trees or whatever. One of the reasons, because that's what we do. We can do that because we have a podcast. Yeah. One of the reasons Jason Kelce retired is because he knows the Eagles are not going to compete for the Super Bowl next season. Do you agree or do you disagree? Do you think that played into, I mean, I know it wasn't the only reason, but do you think that was one of the things that played into his decision to retire? We know family was part of the reason. We know, his health wasn't necessarily a part of the reason. The fact that he couldn't play anymore wasn't a part of the reason because he's pretty healthy as far as we know, and he can still play at a high level.
Right.
So those weren't a part of the reason that he retired. There were different reasons that pushed him to have him, make that decision to not play anymore. And I believe one of the things that weighed in on that decision was the fact he looked at the team and where the team is. That big slide they had at the end of the season, and he's like, no, I'd just be playing just to be playing next year. We ain't going nowhere.
Well, I look at it twofold. Rob and Nick in the comments are partially right due to what you put your body through, but another part is another offensive coordinator, another offensive
right. Well, that weighs into the decision as well. That weighs into whether they're going to win or not.
Well, yeah, it weighs into it's the unknown. You don't know how this new guy is going to do when he comes in here, and you just went through that,
right?
And you're not here for a rebuild.
No.
So it's like that's the thing.
You got time for that.
It's like you don't have time for a rebuild. So it's like one of those things where you just like, man, come on, I can't do it, won't do it.
Right, so and that's what I just said. You said it a different way, but yes, that's exactly right.
Now, Marcus Hayes wrote a thing to a bit of a story in this. Somebody said that's what AJ Brown's talking about. It's like no matter what you do for Philly, somebody, but it's like they coupled Marcus Hayes to like being an Eagles fan. Marcus Hayes. He's a pretty good, a really good writer, but at times I think he has some delusional opinions. Talking about he was dealing with 2 crybaby quarterbacks. I know one that was a crybaby. I was like, but will you? And then the thing is he's going to say that, and then Jalen's probably going to read it, and then the next time he needs a story from Jalen's going to be looking at him side eyed, and he'll be like, "Oh, you can't." It's like when have we heard Jalen cry?
I've never heard him say anything, let alone cry.
and so when I'm looking at it, I was like, okay. So
he doesn't cry. Now, what I will say, again, there's some things that were going on We played ball.
Right.
We know stuff happens in the locker room, happens off the field. There were some things that were going on with this team that we don't know about. That at some point, I think maybe down the road, 5-6 years later, somebody's going to say something about this particular period of time where the last portion of the season, the Eagles just fell off the face of the earth.
Right.
There was some stuff going on that we don't know about. I mean, we talk about what we could see in terms of the defense and,
and the body language and stuff,
and the body language. So we can see that and we talk about that, but we don't know what was going on in terms of the interaction of all the players, what was going on in the meeting rooms, what was going on in terms of relationship with coaches and the players. We don't know about what was going on in all of those different aspects of the Eagles. And I believe at some point, something's going to come out that's going to reveal some of what was happening that actually played a part in them falling apart, because they literally fell apart at the end of the season.
You know what shit don't fall apart? The call to action. Put it up there, Ralph. The call to action.
Don't y'all fall apart. Don't y'all fall apart. Subscribe
and like for us, baby.
There you go.
The call to action. Subscribe and like for us. To piggyback off what you're saying, it seems to be a bit of a rebuild mode, where it feels like they not so much rebuild, but retool. And in retooling, it's a grueling thing, and the unknown. And it's like you could just walk out now and still be on top of your game,
right?
And you don't have them begging you. You can walk out like somebody. My boy Andrew, he said it's just something about walking out under your own terms. It's just something about it.
But even then, because when I retired,
you didn't go off on your own terms. You went out kicking and screaming.
Well, no, I decided not to play anymore. The Redskins at the time, they were Redskins. They wanted me back.
Mm-hmm.
But Schottenheimer was the coach. North Turner had gotten fired, and then they hired Schottenheimer.
Mm-hmm.
And Schottenheimer called me and asked me to come back, and I said no, because I didn't want to play for him.
You know why? I know why.
Why?
He tried to get he had them doing the Oklahoma drill.
Yeah, man. I wasn't doing no bull. I wasn't doing that mess. Shoot, 17 years in the league. I ain't doing all that crap.
I was cracking up because prime time didn't come back.
He didn't come back either. No.
I know.
We talked. Matter of fact, I ain't going back there. That guy's crazy. Shoot, having me running around all over the place like I'm a rookie. So I didn't. But during that off season, before I officially retired, I got a couple of calls from some teams. I got a call from Gruden to come out to the Raiders and catch punts, and he just wanted me to field punts. He said, "I'll pay your whole salary. Just come field punts. I need somebody to catch punts." So I got a couple of offers, and I decided, because of my family at the time, and particularly my son, I decided not to play anymore. Now, I wasn't ready, and I'm sure that that Kelsey probably may be dealing with a little bit of this. I didn't want to retire. The situation kind of dictated. It wasn't football that dictated it, but my personal situation and just it weighed more in terms of me retiring than staying in the game. But we all go through it, whether we make the decision ourselves and we think that we're making it, we're going out on our own terms, we think so, but he's still going to go through that withdrawal that we all have for the first couple years, probably.
Yeah, it's just like you dream of glory, but you don't want that dream to turn into a nightmare.
No, man.
After you've been away from the game for a minute, you try to go back, you gotta get no. Now it's like sometimes people be like, "You still look like you can go." I was like, "Looks can be deceiving."
Yeah. So how much do you think, given the fact that the team with Kelsey on it fell apart the way it did, the last few games we remember them playing were not good.
Right.
Matter of fact, they were a little embarrassing, I would say, and
very
that's
embarrassing,
to say the least. So with Kelsey gone now and him being a solid piece in that whole team, not just the offensive line, but on the team.
Being the leader that he was.
How much do you believe? Yeah, the leader as well, as far as the play on the field. How much do you think the team is going to miss him, and how long before they get to a point to where they can fill that spot?
His role will probably never be filled, but I feel like there's going to be somebody to step in there, and it'll be adequate. But you'll long for the times when the center can snap and pull, and the center was as well seasoned and as good as Kelsey is. Like I equate him to when I was playing against Damani Dawson and Kevin Mawai. Them the only two guys that I ever seen literally snap the ball and lead the sweep.
Mhm.
Wow. Noticeably, while I'm in front of them and I'm in the backfield, but they way out in front of me and they're leading the sweep. And this
That's
is
good.
and yeah, and it's like, and so when you look at and the only other guy who I knew was like that was Steve Everett. And see, like you remember Steve.
Yeah, Steve
And
Everett.
Steve,
Great
he was
player.
a
Yep.
great player. It's like but he did it for a long time. He sustained it, and at the end, he just like some of the other guys, they were begging him to stick around, wanting him to stick around. So it's gonna be like I know you like Cam Jurgens now, but
did you watch Cam play during the preseason? Cam Jurgens was snapping the ball and pulling.
well, he's trying. Yeah,
He was doing it. I don't know how successful he was at it, but I did see him in my memory, my mind's eye. I remember watching him on the field, running down the field, snapping the ball, pulling and running, leading the charge down the field. I thought to myself, wow, he's only been there a little while, because this was his rookie. I'm thinking about. He's only been there for a few weeks, and man, he's emulating Kelsey that quick.
Well, that's the one thing that I think that we were fortunate. We were fortunate for him to be there to pretty much like he didn't Brett Favre it up. You know what Brett Favre did?
What did he do?
Brett Favre said, "I'm not here to teach somebody how to take my job."
I don't remember saying that, but that's a true statement.
That's what he said about Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Stanley Morgan said that about me. He didn't speak to me my whole rookie year. Yeah, he said, I'm not going to help him. They want him to take my job. I'm not helping him.
My rookie year, the coolest thing that anybody, you remember KJ, Kevin John?
Yep.
Yeah. Him, Andy Harmer, and Rhett, they took me under their wing. Now, Ronnie Dixon was a little, they said he was jealous because I was getting the defense a little better than he was, and I was starting to get more playing time than him. Right. And I was making more plays than him. So,
well, that's because you're a better player than him.
Oh, thank you.
The
fact that, but then also the coolest thing that season was we were playing against playing against Washington Redskins here at Veterans Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And I was getting tired, and I was like, he said, William Fuller grabbed me. He said, don't go out. They're going to send that stupid motherfucker in there. He said, just come off the ball and I'll take care of the rest. Dude, it's like you don't realize what he was saying until you're sitting in the meeting rooms and stuff. And when the coach asked questions, he was talking about Ronnie.
Yeah, JD Stroh's in the house, and James, JD Stroh.
Oh yeah, James, but James Monsanto.
Yeah, and, Monsanto, and was that Habib 215? Brian Daly's in the house. Vinny Capriati's in the house. Yep. Yeah, David Roska. Is that how you say that?
Just say David, man. You're butchering that. You're butchering the names.
Okay, well, how do you say his last name?
I don't know.
Oh, it's Roska. R-O-S-C-A. Roska.
Tell him to spell it out for me.
Spell it out for me. So before we move on,
okay,
do you have a Jason Kelsey story?
I didn't play with Jason Kelsey.
No, I know you don't, but I have a Jason Kelsey story. I didn't play with him, but I have a Jason Kelsey story.
But you know what? When I came back, when I first came back, and I still love Jason to this day for like when I was coaching with you, and then I was also the coach in the Soul, and at that time Jason had a slight period where he had an up and down. He had a couple of seasons where it was up and down, and a lot of teams what they were doing was they was picking on. They put the guys my size over him, and and try to knock the crap out of him to make him scared and stuff.
Right.
So then the coolest thing he did was he was basically asking me what if he was me, what would he do to me? I said the first thing you do is you chop that giant tree down. I say you get a good cut block, and and don't make it obvious. as the one thing you do to us as big dogs, because a lot of the big dogs we don't like to be on the ground.
Yeah,
And we hate when you cut us. I
right.
love when you try to cut me because I'm pushing your head into the dirt and I'm gonna land on your back and I'm gonna keep rolling. But it's like, but I was like, but it works on most big guys because they're not that agile and
Right.
we get lazy at times. I
Uh-huh.
say, wait till you get a nice drive going, cut block him, and he ain't gonna be no more good for the rest of the game.
Well, he started doing that because he
Yeah.
started handling folk pretty well at one point. I know he talked about, his first couple of seasons, particularly his first season, that he was lucky he didn't get caught. I mean, cut. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yep. Because he wasn't very good when he got into the league, but he developed and became what people are saying a first ballot Hall of Famer. So it's hats off to him. I met him. The 2 times I've met him were at golf tournaments, and I'm very respectful to current players or former players,
Right.
because to me we're all in the same fraternity.
Right.
We've all done this together. Whether I did it or someone else did it in a different era of time than I did, it's still the fact that we're still in the same fraternity. You made it to the NFL, you put up numbers, you spent some time there, so you've earned my respect. And there have been players, particularly current players, not necessarily, there's been some retired ones too who have made it, like Hall of Famers, people like that. And I met a few of them. Unfortunately, I met a few of them that kind of just
rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, not even rubbed me the wrong way, just treated me like I never played football before at the same level. Like I never did anything.
Like you wanted to know what overall pick.
Right. Yes. And not that I was wanting them to toot my horn or anything, but a handshake and look in the eye and how you doing, bless you, something like that is warranted. You know what I'm saying? So I met Kelsey on the golf course a couple of times, and he was just the total opposite of that, man. He's
respectful, man.
Very respectful. Took him, he took the time to shake my hand. I know who you are, Mr. Fryer. We talked for a second. It wasn't a long conversation because I didn't approach him to have a long conversation. I just approached him to introduce myself and tell him, good luck with the season, that kind of thing. And man, he was just a genuine, very respectful, honorable guy. And hats off to him. I think right now, if someone, and I'm not saying that because of what I'm getting ready to say, I'm saying good things about him because that's who I believe he is, and that's how he treated me. And it was really, really honorable on his part. I respect the man as a man. I respect him as a football player. But man, can you imagine somebody trying to say something negative about him in the city of Philadelphia? He'd get their head chopped off right now.
But
he's the man right now, man. He is the man.
But because he cares, not only does he care, but it's the one thing that you can say about him is he treats everybody with respect.
Right.
And it's like you don't, and then you don't want to associate with nobody that. I was like, anytime I'm with somebody and they try to treat the help bad, I was like, dude, you don't like your food tasting real well, do you? Because you never mess with the cook, you never mess with anybody who's making your food, and the people that put in the effort for you to be able to do what you do, because it's like that, and you have to think like that as a player, because the fans are the people that they inadvertently pay your check.
Right. Yeah.
It's like they pay your check, and those are the ones. I was like, you don't bite the hand that feeds you, and you don't. As like, and the people you see on the way up are the ones that you'll see on the way down as well. So you treat people with the utmost respect, so and dignity. So it's one of those things where it goes a long way. That's why he's so beloved. And
right.
And speaking of being beloved, some of our people that are in the audience were talking about different centers. They're Jeff Saturday and Matt Burke, and I played against both those guys, and I also played against Sean O'Hare for the Giants. It's been a myriad of centers whose asses I've kicked. But they're pretty good. But
just to put it blunt, and see, I can't say it because I'm not down in the trenches. I talk about defensive backs, but yeah, and what Hollis is saying, what Big Dog is saying, is legitimate because I've sat and I've seen it with my own eyes from a bird's eye view, not a bird's eye view from ground level. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've experienced it with my own within the context of the team and being a teammate. So it was
Now I was
he kicked a lot of butt in the middle of the field. In the
now,
middle of the field.
now, was it is that Habib?
Habib, he asked me.
I know that's Omar. Oh, and so Omar is like who was that? Or Keyshawn. Keyshawn is a dick.
He said Fryer or Keyshawn.
Fryer. Keyshawn.
He's saying Fryer. Yeah, Fryer.
Keyshawn is a bit of a now. See, Keyshawn, me and him were both on the, with Adidas at the same time, and Adidas used to take all the people that they had under contract to Arizona for wear tests to try out the new cleats that were coming up for the next week. And he was kind of high-siding at first, and then he realized he realized that I knew one of his friends, but he was talking. But it's kind of like, you ever pay attention when somebody's walking around on speakerphone, like, yeah, we in here, we talking. So he was sitting in the front of the van just talking like that, and I was like, yeah, I say, you went to school with one of my boys one of our boys named Wade White. He said, oh yeah, I know Wade. After that, I was his best friend. I see him again, and he act like he don't even know me.
He tried to big time you, huh?
Yeah. He act like he didn't, like I was his best friend, and because it was like me, Albert Eddie George, Keyshawn, and it was one other person. But we are, and I was doing the test for the lineman shoes, and they were doing receiver and DB shoes,
right?
And it was like, and when I told him I knew his buddy, I was all of a sudden his buddy. But then when I seen him again, he was like,
big time.
He didn't even know me.
Yeah,
but the funniest thing was my boy. You remember? I don't know if you remember Rashard Cooksey.
I know the name. Yeah,
yeah, he played. So Cooksey was like, he's like, yeah, he called him a bitch. He called Keisha because they both played at USC. He said, but he said when he's around like everybody he knows, he tries to big time you, act like he don't know you. But then when he's somewhere by himself, it's kind of like when you're the only brother around.
Right.
Hey.
Right. Well, I mean, the NFL is a microcosm of the world, so you have people like that as well who just, they're I'm not going to say two-faced, but they're one way with certain people, and they're a whole nother way with other people, and they're not always true to who they are because you never know who they are. What you laughing at, man?
Omar or Bobby Hoyer to Fryer.
Bobby Hoyer, yeah, you remember that Bobby Hoyer interception? What it was? Oh my gosh, yeah, Bobby Hoyer threw a lot of interceptions. That was a rough year.
Since we're talking about character, I wasn't fortunate enough to go to the draft. So did you meet with a lot of teams when you were at the draft?
At the draft, you know what
my bad, at the combine. I'm sorry, at the combine.
I didn't meet with anybody at the combine.
Okay.
Well, remember my experience with the combine? They had me come take the physical, and then they sat me down and I watched everybody. And back then it wasn't nearly what it is now. It wasn't on TV and all that kind of stuff, man. It wasn't none of that. They had two combines back then. When I went to the combine, they had one in New Orleans, and they had that one they're still having in Indianapolis. And I went down to New Orleans and got a physical and sat in the stands and watched everybody else, lift weights and run the cones and catch balls and run the 40. I sat and watched all of that. Matter of fact, I didn't sit very long and watch too much of it. I left and went back to my room because what am I doing here? If I'm not going to do all of this stuff, why should I be sitting here and watching? I'm not interested in that. I'm out. So I stayed for a little while, but then I was gone.
You watched some of the draft. I know. Now,
you keep saying draft combine.
My bad, the combine. My bad. Sorry about that. Deepest apologies, people. So,
deepest apologies.
So the combine. Now, I was privy to Xavier Worthy, the 4.2 record breaker. What's up, Chuck D? And now it was the people that showed up at the combine and absolutely said that they weren't going to do anything. Now, after watching, and then this is my only gripe with that. Stay your ass at home.
Right. Exactly. I agree with you 100%.
Go ahead.
Don't come and put on a show, because you're there. You want everybody, you're trying to draw attention to you. Yeah. And we know you're going to be one of the higher draft picks. So now you're making an announcement that you're not going to do anything. So it's like you're one-upping everybody else that's working hard to try to increase their position in terms of the draft.
Yeah. And then,
So
the one thing that pissed me off too is that you hit it on the head when you talk about the hey, look at me. They had Caleb Williams is a bit of a weirdo. He kind of rubs me the wrong way. Somebody just said James said he thinks he's Tom Brady already. He had a whole board up there showing his fantasy stuff. I'm like, dude, come on.
Well, didn't his father say something about him? What his father says he should get $100 million, and his father, correct me if I'm wrong, but his father says something, huh?
Keep going, because you're correct, because he said something about else.
About owning part of the team?
Yeah. Oh my God. I was like, you've done nothing.
What's wrong with Daddy, man? His daddy done flipped his wig.
And then I'm sitting there, I was like, wait a minute, you haven't even done anything in the NFL.
What is dad smoking? His dad smoking something, man. He taking gummies or something. Whatever he need to do, he need to stop because he's hallucinating.
And the one thing that was like, and I was looking and I was listening to the combine more than I usually do, and something just rang in my head was like, if I'm a quarterback, I want to come to the combine and get on the same, because that's another aspect of being a team player or going to a new team. Is how fast can y'all get on the same page? Because even though it's a drill, it's like the other thing that pinged to me was my boy Joe Douglas. He's up with the Jets. He said he hates when guys come and don't run and don't do anything. It's like we can interview you on your visit to our team. It's like when you don't. It's like the thing that you want to see from quarterbacks is how fast can they get on the same page with those receivers, and those receivers and running backs, and you want to see what they can do in a crunch time situation.
Well, what that does, and it's the receiver from LSU, and it was oh gosh, what you call him, son?
Which one?
I can't think of his name.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, Marvin Harrison Jr. Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't work out, and then the other Malik, I think his name is Neighbor is his last name.
Yeah,
from LSU, the receiver. They didn't work out of the receivers. They came and didn't. But it's showing. It's a display of selfishness, like you're saying, that it's about them and not about the team.
Right.
I understand. I can somewhat understand a little bit about them not working out because, I don't know who told them or if they made the decision or maybe teams told them you didn't have to work out, because when I went to the combine, the teams told me I don't have to work out. So that's why I didn't work out. And I didn't stay. I left. I didn't stay there for the whole thing. I stayed there because they told me to sit down and watch. I sat down and watched for about a half an hour. Then I was gone. but to go there and show up and tout yourself like that when everybody else is out in the field working hard, man. I don't know if they were out there cheering people on or what, but I do know they were out there prancing around, showing that they were there and it was about them. Taking the attention off the guys who were actually doing all the work. Yeah,
and the one kid, Xavier Worthy, he didn't allow them to take the attention off him. He just blew the socks off off all the timers.
Well, yeah, I watched that. I actually saw it the second day. I didn't see it live. And so he had run, I think it was a 4.2 something prior to running the 4.21.
Right.
And he didn't need to run again, but he decided he was going to run again. He got at the end of the line and decided he was going to run again. And his goal was to break the record. So he ran again, and he ran the time initially said 4.22.
Right.
So he thought that he tied the 40 record, which he was happy about. He was cool with that. But then about 5 or 6 minutes later, they actually looked at it again and recalculated and gave him a 4.21.
Right.
So that's when he broke the record. But I'll tell you what, out of the testing that went on with the RAS, which they call the relative athletic scores,
right?
They test them by and they score them by. It really didn't help him a whole lot,
right?
Because he was out of the receivers there. He ended up scoring 15th, and I believe before the combine, he was ranked in the top 10 in terms of receivers. He was ranked in the top 10. But now the RAS shows him, his athletic ability, and they do the height, the weight, the hand size, arm length. Then they do the drills, the 40, the 20 shuttle, the vertical jump, broad jump, 3-cone, bench press. So after he did all of that, he dropped out of the top 10. He tested at number 15. So there's 14 receivers that tested athletically better than him. Yes.
But
yes.
but who was the fastest?
He was the fastest, and that matters. You know, it doesn't. And you know what? Forget everything else.
Right.
The way offenses these days, and you'll remember this. The way offenses are beating these modern day defenses now is with speed, and they do it with deep crossing routes. So a lot of times in the game, you'll see a guy catch a ball across down the field in this big hole.
Yeah.
Like, where was everybody at? Well, he ran across the field deep. He went across the field in a deep crossing route, and that's how they're beating these modern defenses now. And speed, you can only do that with speed.
And but who used to who they couldn't do that to? The double J. You know why?
Why?
Because most of the time what they do is most of the time what they do is they run some bells and whistles on the side that he run across to.
Right.
And he runs up.
Up underneath him. Yeah, he runs behind him.
Yep. Yeah, he runs behind the corner. So what Jim used to say is, what the hell are you doing covering grass? Get back there. You know it's something coming from the other side.
Right.
And then when you said it, all I could think about was him telling telling Dirty One that Al Harris. And then I remember him telling Roderick Hood that because we got beat on. He said you should never get beat on the crossing route.
Right.
Like, all that crap up there. And then you see it's like when that guy stops and does a curl in and it's a deep third. You go back there because there's something coming from the other side.
Something coming from the other side. Yeah. You got to recognize that. Yep. And that's when you got to have some good linebacker play too.
Yeah, not only good linebacker play, the guys up front have to know that's what they're doing, and they got to hit home.
They got to get home. Well, they get home, but they always got to get home. They got to get home no matter what.
But the one thing that even if you don't get home, you have to make a move off that spot.
Right.
Because the one thing that you can't do, pressure bust pipes. And sometimes it's just making him move off of the spot. If you make a move off the spot, he has to refocus. So.
Right. And his throw will not be as accurate.
Did you see the kid Mitchell out of Toledo?
Mitchell, no.
Toledo, that's the corner. Like Kool-Aid McKinsey, I don't think he ran because I think something happened with him. But the kid Mitchell was impressive. Ran a 4.33, had great skills and stuff. And I think he's a really, really, really good cornerback. Now,
did you say Quint
Mitchell?
Yeah, he ran a 4.33. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Toledo. Yeah, he was one of the ones that stood out. There were certain ones that had great performances. Dallas Turner, the edge rusher out of Alabama, he killed it.
Yeah,
he killed it. He went in. I mean, he just solidified his first round draft choice.
You see, Chop Robinson.
Who?
Chop Robinson, DN out of Penn State.
I didn't see that guy.
Ran a 4.4.
He did? Really? Wow.
Yeah, I think he ran the fastest of the D lineman.
Really?
Yeah. Chop Robinson.
Well, Fuega, he's an offensive tackle, 6'6", out of Oregon State, 334 pounds.
Yeah, he was pretty decent. It was him and the kid out of, I want to say, University of Washington. They looked, man, when Stoutland was taking them through those O-line drills.
Right.
Man, I was kind of disappointed with Tyler Guyton with his athletic ability on those drills. It's like it's cool to be able to run fast and stuff.
Right.
It's like, but he was giving you drills. The drill, I love the way Stoutland had his drills set up because they were like game type drills. Like he had them hitting like they were stopping the stunt, and then he would had them pulling and running downfield.
Right.
And the guys I'm speaking of, the one you first mentioned, and the other kid out of Washington, they played them both on right tackle and left tackle.
Right.
Those like I can see us getting one of those guys.
Well, those drills obviously are football related drills. So and they have to do with your ability to play that particular position. You know, they don't have linemen running downfield catching the ball, but they, because that's not what they do.
Well, if you play for Detroit, you do.
not at the combine. You're not running down the field catching the ball. Of course, they're going to do that. Look, listen. On every team I've been on, I've always met a lineman that thinks he's a freaking receiver.
Who was a surprise for you in this combine?
Who was a surprise for me?
Yeah.
It was Worthy. That was the surprise. The one who ran the 40,
Now
Xavier Worthy.
AD Mitchell ran a 4.3 or 4.4, 6'4" out of University of Texas.
Right.
On the other side.
Right.
I was enjoying. Man, remember
Well,
we need that take the top off the defense type of guy.
When I went back and looked at his stats,
right.
Worthy, when I saw him run the 40, he's only like 172 pounds, man. He's a little cat. He can fly like a dog gonna fly. But he caught 75 balls last year.
Yes, he did.
Almost 1,100 yards.
Yeah.
1,005 TDs. Not a lot of TDs.
Right.
But man, I was impressed with him.
Yeah.
But then when I looked down the list and saw how far he dropped or how far he was down the list in terms of his testing, I thought that might hurt him a little bit. But then, when you think about what speed does, and that's what offenses are now. They want speed on offense in the league right now. He may be another, Jackson, like we had on the Eagles.
Yeah. That's what they was equating him to.
That's who they were equating to? Yeah.
Same weight, but he's 2 inches taller than Deshaun.
Deshaun, yeah. He's a small guy. He's gonna have to be tough, but he's been playing. He's played at a good school, Texas. It's not like they're a bunch of scrubs and they don't play competitive teams. He's gonna be all right. I was impressed with his 40 time.
Right.
With him coming and saying he was going to beat the record, and he actually came and did it. So hats off to him, man. It's always good to see a record get broken. You see a 4.22 electric time now.
Yes.
4.22 electric time.
Electric time, yes.
That's flying. That's smoking, man.
That's flying.
That's absolutely running like your hair is on fire.
It seems like everybody is like four cats who are namesakes from former players. One of my favorites is Chris Jenkins Jr.
Mm-hmm.
he was handling this business in Big Dog Drills, and the other kid, it was another kid that we should be talking about the elephant in the room, linebackers. We interviewed Trotter Jr. and we interviewed Edric Cooper out of Texas A&M.
Oh, we interviewed them. The Eagles did.
Yeah, and when was the last time did they ever interview anybody?
I don't know. When the last time they interviewed it? The Eagles you talking about?
Yeah, they interviewed. Yeah, and I hear we talking about free agency. I heard rumblings about Levante David out of Tampa Bay.
As far as free agent linebacker.
Yeah, but I was happy that we went and we sought out Trotter Jr. He said the interview went cool, and he said it would be a dream come true for him to come and play where his dad played. So.
That would be a dream come true. So what do you think about Levante David? I mean, he's 34 years old.
Yeah, I think that if you go bring him in, I think he wants to stay in Tampa, but I think they're going to try to woo him away. But if you bring him in,
think he would want? Well, maybe because of the weather and he's a little bit older. But you don't think he would rather play or be welcome to play on the Eagles, or wouldn't welcome that opportunity to come to the Eagles, knowing that he'll come here and start? He got, he's tied for 10th in tackles last year.
Yeah.
So
I think he would welcome the opportunity, but I think he's going to see what Tampa Bay is asked of first. And the other thing too, before the show started, and we were talking about teams releasing a lot of players due to cap stuff.
Right.
So it's like you look at what's going on cap wise, because didn't what was that? The Buffalo Bills just released their entire damn secondary. And somebody now, the internet is undefeated, man, because everybody started talking about DeMar Hamlin survived that. I was like, man, DeMar Hamlin, the kid who died on the field.
Right. Yeah, I know you're talking about. He survived what? I mean, he survived because he cut. Huh?
They pretty much released everybody in their secondary.
Wow. When did they do that? They did that today?
Yesterday and today, yeah.
Yesterday and today? Because there's not a lot of good free agents as far as defensive backs that are available right now. There were some who everybody thought were going to, be released, but they weren't. When you talk about Snead,
yeah,
he's not available anymore.
Yes, he is.
Is he?
Well, he's available. Remember what I said. The last show I told you, I said the Eagles are on the clock. and the Eagles have traded their pick to the Kansas City Chiefs for the Darius
Well,
Sneed, and a contract is being worked out.
We'll see. We'll see for that. I don't
But
think.
no, you can. That's what they gave him. They gave him permission to seek a trade.
No, I know they gave him permission, but nobody's. Well, the free agency is not started yet. So
no, you can seek a trade, but you can't. It's not like you can do. Nothing can become
right.
Like
it can't be official.
Can't be official just yet.
Yeah.
But I think he's gonna. I think we're gonna get him.
Do you think the Eagles are going to make a move for him?
I think you have to. I think you have to, and then you draft one.
Well, I think they have to, or they should. They don't necessarily have to, but I think they should because he's the best option, out of any of the DBs that are available right now. He's probably, arguably the best corner in the league right now. I mean, the guy on the other side, McDuffie, who played with him, they're definitely the best duo, but you can argue that he's the best corner in the league right now because, man, he played lights out against the best receivers in the league all year long and held up.
And in the playoffs, too. Now, if you look what they did in the Super Bowl to Debo Samuels and Kittles and the other kid, and it was
shut him down.
Legendary.
Yep, shut him down. So I thought to myself, I thought he'd be off the table, or I thought he was off the table. Somebody told me he was. I'm gonna stop believing what people tell me.
Well, no, they put him in. They gave him a tag, but
right, they tagged him.
Well, no, it's a transition tag, though.
Right, transition. Yeah, so they get a right of refusal.
Right,
first right of refusal.
And then I think, they gave him the ability to seek a trade,
right?
Because they know they're not gonna pay him. They got to pay a buttload of cash to Chris Jones.
I understand that, and they can't afford to let Chris Jones go. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But again, they put that transition tag on him, so they have the first right of refusal. They can match it, whatever. If he comes back with a deal from somebody, they have the right to match it.
Well, I think they just want had him seek a trade. That's why they put it. Either they put it. Let me see that. I have to look that up. Somebody tell me if they put the transition tag or the franchise tag. I know that they tagged him and said that he told him and his agents they could seek a trade. That's got
to be the transition tag. That's got to be the transition tag because with the it's like Kyle Duggar with the Patriots. They put the transition tag on him so that he can go out and seek a trade, but they have the first right of refusal, meaning they can match it, whatever he gets. They have the right to match it, and if they match it, then he stays at home.
But if they don't match it, they get a compensation. That's what I think is
right.
May have been the franchise tag. So we'll see.
But can you do that with a franchise tag? I need to study up on this stuff. You can do that with franchise tag?
Do that with franchise tag too. Yeah. Because I think they were going to do that to AJ Brown. Okay. But they thought Treylon Burks was going to be the next AJ Brown, and he's been injured the entire time. They put the franchise tag on him. Yep, they put the franchise tag on him.
Okay, franchise tag.
But they gave him permission to seek a trade.
Okay,
they're not trying to pay him.
Well, we're going to have a lot more to say next week because, 3-4 more days we have before free agency opens up?
Yeah.
Well, it's a whole lot of stuff's going to be going on the first couple of days, and that'll be right before our show next week. I guess I got to study up on the transition tag and
the what you call
franchise tag and all that kind of stuff.
All that shebang.
I studied up on the RAD because I didn't understand that either at the combine.
You know what? The funny thing is they added so much. I had to yell at somebody the other day because they were talking trash. When I say trash, it's like. Here's Ralph is giving.
Yep, thank you, Ralph. Teams can begin negotiations with free agents Monday at noon. It's Monday at noon. That's a few days. Like I said, a few days away.
Just negotiation.
And players can officially sign by new teams on March 13th at 4 p.m. with the start of new league.
The physical new league year.
Right.
Now the funny part of that is we got hosed on that because we thought we had Frank Gore and he left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's literally March 13th. Thank you, Ralph.
Thank you, Ralph.
Anytime we're struggling with some information, Ralph pulls it up.
Mm-hmm.
You Googled that, didn't you, Ralph? Did you Google that? You knew that off the top of your head. Come on, tell the truth.
You probably Googled it. You want me to?
He said I did. Yeah, he Googled it.
Now you got I got a what you call it? You want me to go ahead and get you some
Oh yeah, man, it's time for his.
I'll get you some history, guy. Yeah, I don't want to rush through it. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say this because I looked this up.
Okay.
Because I didn't know this either. I mean, I did not participate in the combine, and I was like, "What is this?" This guy named Kent Lee Platt. He's the one who came up with the relative athletic scores, the RAS, as how they score these guys at the combine.
Right.
So he's an old Navy vet, big math junkie, football nut. So they use a multitude of players testing metrics, and physical attributes to generate a score to measure a prospect's athleticism entering the draft, entering the NFL. The final number is determined by what percentile a player falls relative to their peers at a particular position. So, so if say I'm a player, and out of all the wide receivers that did the broad jump, I fell in. I was the 95th highest, 95th percentile. So then you get a 9.5 for that exercise, for that drill. So that's how they grade that drill. So if I was in the 85th percentile of my peers, the receivers in the broad jump, then I would get an 8.5. So that's how they grade it. 10 is a perfect score. Cool, 10 is a perfect score. So that's how I never knew how they graded that. I never knew where they got it from. I never knew what it was called. I just knew they put the analytics together and come up with a score for these cats. But that's how they do it. Now some history with Hollis. I just gave a little history, but we got real history with Hollis.
History with Hollis is brought to you by Philly Sports Trips. Go to phillysportstrips.com and pick one of our illustrious trips. The Brazil trip is still being put together, but you could go and put your deposit down and mark your spot. We still have events going on down in Clearwater, which I'm going to on the 13th through St. Patrick's Day. That's going to be fun. But you go to phillysportstrips.com to fulfill all of your sport tailgating needs for all of the Philadelphia sports. It's all of them, from the Union to the Phillies to the Sixers to the Flyers, and of course, go Birds. Today is March the 7th, 2024. It's the 67th day of the year. There's only 299 of these suckers remaining. National holidays. Today's national holiday is National Cereal Day. What's your favorite cereal?
You know what the favorite cereal is for the state of New Jersey?
What's that?
Cheerios.
Cheerios? Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, New Jersey eats Cheerios. They sell the most here in New Jersey.
Well, you know that they made cornflakes to stop men from thinking about masturbating.
Do what?
They made cornflakes to stop the soldiers from thinking about masturbating. And more holidays.
I don't eat cornflakes.
Today is Crown Roast Pork Day as well.
Pork.
Crown Roast Pork. It's also Flapjack Day. Today is National Pancake Day, baby.
Okay.
Hospitality List Day. It's Plant Power Day as well for those of you with the green thumb. And Book Day. National Book Day.
Book Day.
Yes, National Book Day. It's mainly National Book Day is mainly in the UK and Ireland. I have some events here. In 1854, Chuck Miller, he patented the very first U.S. sewing machine. I put that in there because your girl with the humble gear, humble greatness.
Yes, she's good, man. Yep.
1854. They put the first. He patented the first United States sewing machine to stitch mainly buttonholes.
Okay.
Yeah.
To stitch them up and close them, or to make buttonholes.
To stitch them up and to put buttons back onto garments. And
stuff. Got you.
In 1857, baseball decides nine innings constitutes an official game versus not just 9 runs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In 1876, Alexander Graham Bell, he did patent the telephone in the United States. In 1881, the Southern University opens up in New Orleans.
Okay.
1881, man. In 1905, the return of Sherlock Holmes. Arthur Doyle, who was the author of it, he had stopped writing these Sherlock Holmes novels for a little bit, and due to public demand,
Really?
he
Wow.
started back writing Sherlock Holmes.
Back then, you had to read. You didn't have TV, so you had to
Yes,
read. Yeah.
yes. And then the coin operated locker was patented in 1911 by Willis Farnsworth of Cali.
He's rich.
Yeah, the coin locker. Yeah, the coin
Yeah,
locker.
he's rich.
Yeah, 1962. Yeah, Smoking and Health is published. The very first in 1962 by a British Royal College of Physicians, due to talking about all the health concerns with smoking. In
Wow.
1965.
We ignored that. People ignored that. Been ignoring it for a long time.
For a long time. It's like if you go back to some of the older airplanes on TWA, there was ashtrays on those planes.
Oh yeah, it was smoking section. You go in the back and smoke.
Put it this way, doctors used to smoke during your visit. Now,
now they wear a mask.
In 1965, the Alabama State Troopers and 600 black protesters they clashed in Selma for what was known as Bloody Sunday.
Yep.
1979 baseball exhibition season opens with the semi-pro, and amateur umpires. Who knew the difference though? But in 1982, the NCAA tournament. This is the first time in the NCAA history that they had what's called Selection Sunday now. In 1982, it was televised for the very first time. So you know when they show all the teams who could be selected, they'll have like So that was the first time they did it in 1982. In 1987, Mike Tyson beat the crap out of James Bone Crusher Smith in 12 rounds. In 1988, Howard Stern, he had his first pay-per-view underpants and negligees party.
Wow.
In 1993, Todd Bridges was arrested for stabbing one of his tenants. I guess it was different strokes. 2011.
That was bad. You shouldn't have said that. Take that off. Take that off.
Sorry about that. Hey, Ralphie, nix that last part. 2011. Yeah, Charlie Sheen was fired from the CBS sitcom 2.5 Men.
Why was he fired?
Man.
Never mind.
2016, Peyton Manning retires. And also in 2016, Maria Sharapova she failed a drug test and was suspended for 15 months in tennis.
Sharapova.
Yeah, she was good at the time. And then 20 and to top all the bad stuff off in 2021, Governor Andrew Cuomo, he refused to step down. Like, I ain't quitting.
Y'all going to put me out.
Yeah, y'all got to put me out due to sexual assault. Apparently, he had a sexual assault charge, and he was concealing nursing home deaths during the COVID times. Now, I have some birthdays here. 1846, we're going to go with Whitcomb Judson. He invented the zipper. Yes, 1934, Willard Scott. You know the today guy, the weather guy. 1942, Tammy Faye Baker. 1950, Franco Harris. 1952.
I did see something today that was Franco's birthday. Franco and I from the same high school. You know that, right?
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, graduated same high school.
1952, you have Ernie Isley and Lynn Swann, both in 1952. 1955, quarterback Tommy Kramer. 1956, Bryan Cranston, actor, Breaking Bad. 1960, Yvonne Lindell. 1960,
Breaking Bad. That was a great series.
Yeah, the lead guy, Bryan Cranston. Today is his birthday.
That was a great series. You seen that? Breaking
Bad.
Bad.
I saw him in Malcolm in the Middle.
Did you see Breaking Bad though?
Not really.
Oh man, you got to watch Breaking Bad. It's really good. Better Call Saul too. You got to watch Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul. I watched that a little bit.
Yeah.
1962, you have Taylor Dane. Is a singer. Tell It to My Heart was one of her jams. 1964, Wanda Sykes. 1965, Steve Berliner. One of the only penalties I've ever got, he got me to jump offside. 1965, Flipper Anderson. 1970,
receiver.
1970, Rachel Wise from the movie The Mummy.
Okay.
And that was pretty much it.
That's it.
That's all I got for you this day on History with Hollis. Brought to you by Philly Sports Trips. Go to phillysportstrips.com and book a trip and tell them you heard it on A2D Radio and tell them that Irv and the Tank sent you.
You ran out of paper. You just ran out of paper. That's all.
No, I didn't.
You flipping papers. You ran out of paper. That's all.
Well, no, on the next page, I have March 7th continued. B days is number of birthdays. Then Jason Kelsey retires. Then Christian Wilkins. They didn't tag him.
They didn't tag him.
Yeah. The defensive tackle that I'm longing for to come here to solidify that middle with the other two young stallions.
Well, we need to get linebackers first. That's the priority. Linebacker is the priority. Second priority, or second on the list, or second in terms of importance, is defensive backs.
Yes.
Particularly safeties.
Yes, safeties. And I hear that Bradbury doesn't want to be here.
Well, that's good. That's leave then. You don't want to be here, leave. You don't want me, I don't want you. Go.
Yeah.
Bye.
Go. It wasn't like you was there no way. They was calling him Toast.
Exactly. or Mr. Invisible, the invisible man.
Man.
He's the invisible man. So everybody who's listening, listen, we're going to be back next week. Next week will be March the 14th. So guess what? It will be a few days after free agency starts. Yes. So we'll have a lot of scuttlebutt next week going on. There will be some moves. Hopefully, prayerfully, by this time next week, L'Jarius Sneed will be a Philadelphia Eagle.
Yes.
Let's put that on your prayer list.
Now it's on my prayer list too. But you remember last time this happened, it didn't happen until the draft. So
I understand that. And the draft is it's in April, so it's not that far behind. But
sometimes people want to play hardball and stuff, talking about what they ain't gonna do.
Right. And I mean it's a important decision for him too as well.
Yeah.
But the thing that he brings to this team, the Eagles, he knows how to win, man. He's been a part of a winning organization, and he knows what it takes to get there, and not just to get there, but to make it happen when you get there. Yeah. And he can bring that attitude. He can bring that swag with him, and it'll trickle from him and be infectious on that defensive side of the ball. I really think that's another big important, and on top of the fact that he's a baller, that he can play.
Right.
The experience that he brings in being there, having been there and won, you just can't. That's second to none. Yeah. You can't put a value on that. And I think he can bring that. He will bring that by being here. We'll bring that to the Eagles, particularly on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah. More cowbell.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. We'll see you all next week. This is A2D Radio. We're vetted. Irving Fryer, Hollis Thomas. We're out.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.